Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the YouTube channel. Super excited to show you some different AI ideas that you can use in your business. So let's get into it. Alrighty, guys, you got to check this out. So I've heard about Heygen for like the longest time. And when I wanted to go ahead and purchase or be a part of whatever my coach was doing. Now, my coach was Frank Kern, and he had probably told me about Heygen like 2 years ago. And the price on it was ridiculous. It was probably like $129 a month or something like that. So I was into it. And then I ended up, putting that idea on the back burner so that I wouldn't have to, spend that amount of money because, what was the return on $120 a month or whatever, right? So it was probably higher than that. I just remember it was astronomical. So anyway, there was like new AI engines released and now it's become a little bit more affordable. So I ended up spending like $700 for a yearly plan, and it gives me a whole bunch of different things that you can do. So as a DJ company, right, you can avatar yourself and then, create videos. Maybe you're not great on camera. Maybe you can have this thing, make, promotional videos for you or social posts or whatever. All these different ideas that you can do to do social posts if you don't like to be in front of the camera, or maybe you just don't have time to, sit there and go live every time that you're, at an event. I know me personally, when I'm at an event, I'm not thinking about social media, right? I'm thinking about, my event and making sure everything is, spot on for my clients. So I'm not in the mood to record a video while I'm not in the mood to record a talking video going, hey, look, check me out, all that kind of thing. It's just not my style. I'm working on getting a little bit better at it. Yet at the same time, I keep adding all these different AI. So I like to be in the studio. I like to create things inside the studio and get excited about, other different, avenues that you can take. I know some people out there, they're better at, going into the office of the venue and being like, how can I be a, preferred vendor here and that kind of thing. And they like to do smoozing or, better networking, or maybe they're more personable. In me, I'd like to just sit in the studio and record videos and have some DJs, kitty DJs in the background. That's kind of my style. But yeah, I understand, we're all learning and growing, and, sometimes I have to, force myself to do those kind of things. So now, with all that in mind, I ended up purchasing Heygen, right? So I don't know if you've seen any of my, shorts or reels recently, but I went ahead and, cloned myself twice, so that I have two different looks. I got the coach look, and I've got the, the professional DJ button-up shirt look, right? So I created something that I thought was kind of cool. Now, before we get into, the script of what I decided I wanted to take, right, or just decided I wanted to show, was that I was talking about chat.ojoy.ai with Beloved earlier yesterday. He had called me up and he was asking some questions about different AIs that I use, and this is by far, hold on, I've used all the AIs. I've used ChatGPT, I've used Gemini, I've used Gronk, I've used a whole bunch of different ones that are on Poe. And Frank Kern's AI for creating copy, creating scripts, and getting to the point of selling things is far superior to anything on the market. So chat.ojoy.ai, and I'll go ahead and share the screen one more time. All right, like right now I'm using one of his engines called Project Shepherd. Now, just so you understand, Project Shepherd is meant for other people that are coaches or influencers, and they want to sell products and digital products and services. So this is a way to, create scripts and emails and how to word things influentially. Yeah, that's a word. Anyway, how to, properly display copy in words so that you can attract more people. Now, I haven't even, gone into the other engines, because when I first purchased it, there was just Project Shepherd, and there was another engine called Rewrite, which you got to scroll down to get to Rewrite. So just so you understand what Rewrite is like, let's say you go to a website and, the copy isn't all that great. It'll copy, you could copy the copy and put it into the engine, right? And then Project Shepherd or Ojoy is trained to ask you questions like, what's the biggest benefit of this product? What will the person receive from getting this product? What are unique ways to go about, selling this product or explaining this product to somebody? And then it's going to ask you what the call to action is. Like, what do you want somebody to do after they've read your material, right? Do you want them to go to a funnel page? Do you want them to call? Do you want them to hit you up on social media? It'll ask you all those questions. Now, this is just one tool in many of the steps it takes in order to get somebody to purchase, scale your business, create systems and workflows. And if you don't know, where to start with that, you can just go back to one of these engines and then ask it, whoa, what should I do next? Fact Finder. I have to go back into the Frank Kern coach and ask what all these different ones are. But anyway, Project Shepherd is a good place to get you started. So the idea that I had was that in Heygen, you can create avatars of yourself. So if we go back to Heygen over here, I've got 2 different avatars that I created. And this is a project that I've been working on. And basically, they created a new model for your avatars, which give you more lifelike, movements, body movements, facial expressions. So it's more lifelike than anything that I've ever seen. And it's like Digital Twin 4 is what they call it or something like that. But anyway, I got it yesterday. And this new avatar on the first page is something I just created like 10 minutes ago. And this one with the white shirt is something that I had. So I don't know if it'll give you the full movements inside of the preview, but I can play it for you and you can kind of see, what I have going on and maybe get some ideas from here. So with that in mind, you can hit play on each individual scene, and I've created all these different scenes. And basically, I've created this so that I can produce a bunch of shorts. Now, since I bought this yesterday, I think they give you like 30 minutes or so with the subscription that I had, and I've already used up the 30 minutes, and I was playing around with it, and now I've come up with one more idea, and I want to make sure that I get that out. And of course, if you wanted to do more than the 30 minutes, it'll charge you per credit or whatever that is. So my first month I got a little excited and I was like, how many things can I make, right? And then you can also do other things that we'll get into after I show you this, right? So I'll go ahead and hit play here. Body movements may or may not work on the preview. And then I went and did the background removal. So I haven't added backgrounds or captions or anything like that. So, but I can do this.
You want AI to work for you? Well, here's proof it works. I'm literally an AI working for Scott right now.
So now that we can go to the scene, this one is already kind of like preloaded, so it should have some body movements to it because this is the one that I loaded yesterday.
Wait, I'm an AI talking about how Scott's other AI runs his business. So he's got AI talking about AI while he's probably sleeping.
And then if I hit this play button, maybe it'll do it.
Wait, I'm an AI talking about how Scott's other AI runs his business. So he's got AI talking about AI while he's probably sleeping. Can you believe that this guy has got AI answering his calls, AI nurturing his leads, AI posting on social media, and now AI making his marketing videos? He's basically replaced himself. But hey, it works. His voice AI nurtured 3 hot leads last night while we were both, while he was sleeping and I was existing. The point is, automation actually works. Ready to get your own AI army? Get a free 30-day trial. Link in the description. I'll be here making more videos. Scott will be sleeping. Win-win.
So anyway, there's a little bit of editing, maybe some logo dropping and captions that I got to do. So, another thing that I found that was cool, if I go over here, each scene, you want to add captions. So if I go to captions, I've just been using this one. And if you didn't like the colors, right? It already knows my logo, so it has its own brand. And then each other color takes me 2 seconds, and I could change that out. And then you can see what that looks like.
Do you want AI to work for you? Well, here's proof it works. I'm literally an AI working for Scott right now. Wait.
And then you just go down the line and do that for every single scene. Now, you want to be able to change your scenes because it doesn't like doing more than like 8 seconds at a time per scene. So you cut it up, and that's why I have, myself talking to myself or two of myself presenting. You get the point. So with that in mind, there's different things you could do. You got the captions in the backgrounds. I mean, I guess you could create, different templates that they have, but they also have videos. Oops, come back. And then you could upload backgrounds. Yeah, you go to backgrounds and do, or images, media uploads. And these are different uploads that I did, right? So if I wanted that to be the background, I would take that, boom, and then set as background. So now I have, myself under a background. And if I wanted this one to be different, which is like another thing too, right? Like I can go to Leonardo AI is what I use. And then if you want a bunch of ideas of what to put as a background, there's all these different things you can do, but I just use flow state, and I will say something like a party scene with confetti. I don't even know how to spell confetti and club lights. Right? See what it does. So that should take a few seconds. Again, I used Project Shepherd to create a script. And again, Frank Kern's AI, way better, way superior than any other for copy and persuasive language, right? So, and then we go back to here, and now we have all these different ones. But of course, I didn't want that, that ratio. So I'm going to go ahead and generate again. And I don't even know. I think it's like $20, $30 a month for this Leonardo AI. See, there's a cool one. So I'm just going to take that. I'm going to download right here and then go back to wherever my project is. See, yeah, over here too, you can, adjust the voice and change the voice if you didn't like it. And then it does, I have another one that's rendered out for eye correction. And then, it has, pre-made avatars. Like you can just create content with, different types of people they already have loaded into the system. So now that I did that, I'm going to go to my this scene. And then since I've already, loaded it, I'll put that over here. And then add this to the background. So now I have.
Do you want AI to work for you? Well, here's proof it works. I'm literally an AI working for Scott right now. Wait, I'm an AI talking about how Scott's other AI runs his business. So he's got AI talking about AI while he's probably sleeping.
All right, so we got, two different scenes. This will, when I hit render, it'll be there with hand motions and stuff. And if I wanted, I could take that, put it down here, and then take my captions and put it up here, and boom, there you go. You get different scenes when you go to, when it cuts from here to here. Perfect. So I got that. So again, Leonardo AI, and then let's say I like this picture, right? But I want something a little bit different. So I can just hit more than this, and then now it'll just generate images upon images of different things in that settings, those types of settings. So if I wanted a light like that instead of, whatever this is, back to here. So instead of a light going left to right, I can have, a light coming at me. And they'd all be like from the same party because I hit more like this. So super excited about this. And if you want to see the renders that come out, make sure to check that out. And I'll show you one more thing that I was working on since this is still, there's no place to actually save this. So I'll show you another one that I did where I was like, oh, what if I just took, cartoons and stuff. So I could hit play on this.
Third, CapCut's AI editing turns my event footage into viral content in minutes. Fourth, Go High Levels chatbot nurtures leads while I sleep. 90% close rate on scheduled calls.
So yeah, there you go. The possibilities are endless. I'm super excited about this. So I'll leave a link down below if you want to check out, the services that we offer, AI answering your phone calls, scheduling your Zoom meetings, social posts. Go High Level does so many different things. So again, guys, thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, tell your grandma, that kind of thing. And I'll catch you on the next one.